In the heart of a desolate village, where the moon seldom lit the path and shadows danced with malevolence, stood an ancient mansion that all the locals whispered about. Its windows were gaping voids, and the once vibrant paint now peeled off like dead skin. They called it the House of Whispers, and for a good reason. Carol, a young journalist with a thirst for uncovering the truth, arrived in the village to investigate the legends surrounding this eerie structure. Determined and undeterred by the villagers' warnings, she made her way to the mansion just as dusk thickened into an impenetrable darkness. The wooden door creaked violently as she pushed it open, the sound echoing through the empty hallways like a scream. As she stepped inside, the air grew colder, and the pungent odor of decay assaulted her senses. Her flashlight flickered, casting long shadows that seemed to reach out for her. She took a deep breath and moved forward, her footsteps muffled by the thick layer of dust that coated the floor. Each room she entered told a story of abandonment and sorrow. Glimpses of the past haunted her: broken furniture, shattered mirrors, and walls scribbled with cryptic messages. In the parlor, a grand piano stood silent, its keys yellowed and broken, as if the music had been violently torn from it. But then she heard it, the whispers. They started as soft murmurs, almost like the rustling of leaves, but soon grew louder and more distinct. Carol couldn't understand the words, but the tone was unmistakable. It was pleading, accusing. She followed the sound, her heart pounding in her chest, leading her to a dimly lit staircase that spiraled into the basement. As she descended, the whispers merged into a cacophony of voices, rising and falling like waves crashing against the shore. The basement was a labyrinth of musty corridors, each turn bringing her deeper into the bowels of the mansion. Finally, she reached a room at the end of the hallway. Its door was ajar, and a sickly green light seeped through the gap. Carol pushed the door open to reveal a scene that froze the blood in her veins. The room was filled with old portraits, their eyes gouged out, and a massive mirror that took up an entire wall. Reflected in the mirror, Carol saw not her own image, but that of a young girl, pale and gaunt, eyes filled with an agonizing sorrow. The girl mouthed words that Carol could not hear, but she understood their meaning all the same: "Help me." Driven by a mixture of fear and empathy, Carol reached out to touch the mirror. The surface was cold, almost like touching ice. Suddenly, the room began to shake, the portraits rattling against the walls, and the whispers crescendoed into a deafening roar. Before Carol could react, she was pulled into the mirror, surrounded by an endless void. Inside, the whispers engulfed her, stories of pain, suffering, and unfulfilled vengeance. And among them, the voice of the girl, thanking her, yet condemning her to share their eternal torment. The villagers never saw Carol again, but they claim on quiet nights, when the wind subsides, you can still hear the whispers emanating from the mansion, louder than ever, now joined by a new voice filled with unending despair.